So what I'm going to do now is show you a bubble. I'm going to start on a smaller one. We're going to work up to the bigger one. So we're going to do these two, and then I'm going to do a little, probably one of these, because that's very similar to this technique. So what I found with this one, doing the circle, was quite a tough one too, because you have to get that down. So I started by swiping, and that worked okay. So I'm going to show you that bit, that technique as well. But you'll find your way. And do you know what I love? This is really silly, but I love just putting, if you take your chisel nib and press it onto your Mylar, and then just go in. Look how it moves. If you've ever done an acrylic pour, it's like it creates cells. It fascinates me, that. I love that bit. I know I'm a bit mad, but... And then if you go in with another colour, look, it moves. It's like working on Yupo paper. So you can put a yellow green in with a blue green and get another colour. So then when you pick it up, you've got a different shade. I just wanted to show you that while I had it on there. Right, so I'm going to use the chisel end now, and I'm going to go straight in. So I'm going to pick up this green, and I'm going to get it so that it's on the edge of that chisel nib, and I'm going to make it go right the way down to the bottom. Okay, so you can see there I've got that green. I'm going to just pick up a little bit more on the end there and make sure I haven't got any gaps. And you can do that. You can push it into the colour and pick it up, but just make sure that you knock it back a little bit, all right? Because you've really kind of got one chance to get this stroke in, because once you start going over it with lots of different strokes, it eliminates it because you're using your blender. So what I did was start in the middle here, and you've just got to go for it. So I'm just going to go round like that, and then I'm going to go back and round like that. And it looks rubbish, okay? But go with it, because we're going to add more colours in. And then I'm going to go back to that green, and I'm going to pick that colour up again. And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to pull towards me, and I'm going to push away. Okay, now that time, I didn't knock it back, did I? So now I'm going to have to work harder. So I didn't mean to do that, but I'm glad I did, because now you can see that you've got to work harder with that blender to get that colour. So you might prefer to work like that, to get that colour down and then blend it out. Try both, see which you prefer. I'm going to go in, I'm going to add a little bit more there. I'm just going to, so what I'm doing there is making the colour darker in the middle and then blending it out, okay? And you've got to go with this, because it is one of those techniques that I don't think you'll get it first time. And that's not me saying that you can't colour and you're not good enough to get it first time. And it's not saying that because I didn't, you won't. You might do, but I found I had to really work at bubbles. But I quite liked that, because then it becomes a bit of a challenge, and it's like there's no way a bit of ink and a pen's going to beat me. So I kept going with it, but I did walk away from it on several occasions. And the girls are saying to me, have you done the bubble yet? I'm like, no, I'm walking away because it's bothering. It was in my head. And I was like, I've got to nail these bubbles, got to nail these bubbles. I walked away, forgot about it, did something else, came back one day and just went, that's how you do it. So yeah, it was a bit of a labour of love, this one, but I like the effect, so it's worth it. Now, I'm not going to swipe again with another colour, because if I do that, I can end up with like a muddy mess, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go in with my pink, and I'm going to lay it down on my Mylar, and I'm going to add my other colours in the way I added it with this. All right, so I've got my base, and that base could be pink or the blue or the green, you know, whichever you prefer. But now I'm going to go in and I'm going to start to add this next layer in. So I'm going to work, get rid of some of that, Melanie, don't forget to do that. Go in and just add a little bit of pink here and there, just in like a dot. Okay, pick it up, get rid of the stamp. It's almost like second generation stamping. You know, when you ink a stamp up and then you stamp it off on a piece of scrap card, and then you do the next, you stamp it again, so you've got less ink on it, so it gives you a lighter effect. That's kind of what this is like. And because I've used quite a lot of blender on that green, it's still in the card. So it's softening those colours as I add in this pink. And what the blender does as well is it kind of splits the green. So whatever that colour's been made up of, you start to see those little bits of other colours. And also when I added the jade green and then put a little bit of the yellow green in, I can see a little bit of the yellow green in there. So try mixing that as well, because that's quite cool. In fact, I'm going to show you that right now. I haven't tried it with these colours, but I'm going to try it right now because I think that might be quite cool. So I'm putting that dark blue down, and then I'm going to go in with my pink, and I'm not worrying about contaminating my nib because I can get rid of it. Look, that blue's gone. This might be quite cool. And then I'm going to pick it up like this. I'm going to dab my nib in there, through the pink and through the blue. And that's given me a really nice purple. So I'm now going to go in at the edge of that bubble and just add, oh, that's ace. Trust me, this isn't me just putting this on, this is me being genuinely excited, because cards on the table, I knew I was doing textures today. I wasn't looking forward to doing the bubbles, but actually I'm really enjoying this now. And I wasn't looking forward to it because it's hard. It's difficult to explain without making it sound like it's hard, like it's difficult. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm saying, right, and it's quite, it took me ages and I walked away and I came back. But I wanted to be really honest with you because I don't want you to ever get to a stage in a class where you're looking at it and going, I can't do that. Mel did it. She didn't say it was difficult, so it must be easy, so it must be me, because that's the whole reason that we brought out the Ink Lily programme in the first place, because I've watched shows, I've come up across people over the time and said, I've tried colouring, I'm rubbish at it, I can't do it. Everybody can colour when you've got the right pen, just like everyone can cut a straight line when you've got the right trimmer. So I didn't want to come in here and go, right, this is bubbles, this is how we do it, blah, blah, blah. I wanted you to know that I'd had to really work at getting this technique right. So if you really have to work at it, you know that it's not you, it's a general across the board kind of thing. And that's really important to me because I don't ever want anybody to think that they're not capable of doing it, because you are, you're capable of doing anything if we break it down into steps and we take it a little bit at a time. So that's why I wanted to tell you that I'd had a bit of a journey with this. So now I'm just going to soften that purple through with a little bit of pink. So I've gone back to just my pink and I've picked a little bit up on my blender and I've brushed a lot of it out. And now I'm just using that to soften down that purple and then letting that pink run out on my blender and just using that to build up this colour, okay? So I've gone around the edge a little bit now. And now you've got to be brave and just do a little bit in the middle of that green, okay? And I'm going to pick up a little bit of that purple again, that blue. And I'm just going to add little bits here and there, okay? Around here. And just soften that through, okay? And I think this is probably the easiest way, rather than trying to create something that looks like a ball with all these colours in it, because I actually really like that now. And you watch by the end of this whole course, bubbles will be my favourite thing. I do that all the time though. I try something and I think what's really important is, and this is another reason why I wanted to do these videos in real time, is that when you get a new product home, we're all the same as crafters. We want to get it out of the box, we want to have a go. But if it's a new technique or it's something that's going to take time, you have to stop yourself and you have to wait until you've got that time. Because otherwise you'll rush it, you won't do it right, you'll give up on it and it'll stay in the cupboard. And we don't want that. And I found that with mixed media, when I started to dip my toe into that, I got the paints out and I did this and I thought, well, that doesn't look right. And then I thought, right, stop, put it away. And I booked a day off work and I sat there and I started to do the techniques and also going and learning the techniques as well, you know, from when we went over to Turkey, to Cadence. And that was amazing, but that was very fast paced too. And taking in all that information in one go is quite overwhelming, which is again, why on some of the classes we'll split them down into sections. So rather than just having the video run from start to finish, we split it down because you can become overwhelmed. And when you're trying to do it at the same time, that's even more overwhelming because you're trying to keep up. So there is always a reason why we're doing what we're doing. And I just think to give yourself that time to sit and try it and go, no, that's not right, try again, no, that's not right, try again, and really work through that process is really, really crucial, especially when you're learning something new that has so many different ways and techniques within it, like these pens. Now I've gone in a little bit hard there, so I'm going to get rid of all the pink that's on there, and I'm going to use my blender to soften that pink out, okay? And then I'm going to go back in, which sounds like a contradiction, but when I get rid of it, it won't be then as random, if you like. There'll be a little bit more form to that pink bit in the middle. Right, do I need any more green in? I think I might need a little bit. So I'm going to go back to the colour that I started with on the chisel nib, and I'm going to bring a little bit of that to the outside. And I'm just going to follow it around. I'm not going all the way around. I'm not filling in that circle. I'm going to leave areas, but I'm just extending what I did originally. You know what? It's funny, isn't it, how you start dread. It's like when I learned to drive. Oh, I hated learning to drive. I really hated it. I'd be really, really, really worked up before I went on my driving lesson. Now, I love driving, and I can't imagine why I was ever that scared of it. And that, for me, makes it more of an achievement at the end. And I love that. I love, at night, going to bed thinking I've really achieved something today. And I hope that you get that feeling as we work through these classes too. Right, I am really, really happy with that bubble now. So I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to do a smaller one. Because I think when you do a smaller area, you can't always use that chisel technique. So I'm going to show you how to do it with the brush, and then we'll come back and we'll look at this. Now, if you're wondering what these bits are, when you stamp your bubble, you can stamp that bit inside, and that will give you your white area. Or you can do what I do and go in with a white gel pen and just add that highlight. So it's until, if you're looking and thinking, what's that got to do with bubbles? That's what it is. I just wanted to cover that for you while I remembered.